I literally have no idea how people are making it and getting ahead on under $100,000 a year in 2025. Like with how much mortgages are, mortgage interest rates are, how much rent can be, how much grocery shopping costs, how much new cars are, used cars, how much car insurance is, how much child care is. It's absolutely wild to me that anyone making under $100,000 is doing anything but surviving. Like, there's no way you are getting ahead and living comfortably on that amount unless you are living at home in your parents' basement for free, like living rent free or mortgage free.
I see what the guy's saying. I'm sure many of you can relate to what he's saying. However, what I've seen in my small circle or sometimes larger circle, and including clients at work, things like that, the people that are struggling the most have dependents, right? They have people depending on them. They have children. Making $100,000 as a single person, not having any other dependents. And by the way, there's a lot of people, especially when you get in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. A lot of people have to take care of their elderly parents, other than sending them to a nursing home. But a lot of people take care of elderly people and parents as well, which can be a very difficult thing to do financially and just time wise, because you're stretched very thin just having to work if you're still a working person. Then you have to take care of someone, and of course, just ask anyone that has kids. It can be very difficult. But if you're making $100,000 living in Dayton, Ohio, as a single person, you can do pretty well actually. But I think this person probably has children. Let's go ahead and finish up with what he's saying. Then we've got some news to get into. We're going to hear from a few other people on what their thoughts are on the economy. And we're going to tell you what's really happening with the economy right now. It's falling apart like never before. Is it the stock market crashing? No. Is it the billionaires struggling? No. Is it the big business and the companies that sell us most of our stuff? No, they're not doing bad. They're doing very well, better than ever before in some cases. Record profits in some cases. It's the average working person that's crumbling like never before in this economy, though. Let's continue, and we'll get into that here in just a few minutes.
If you're making under $100,000 a year, you're basically just surviving. There's no way you are getting ahead.
Some people are.
So if there's anyone out there that's actually making less than 100,000 and is doing an amazing job, you're able to save, invest, and get wealthy, please let me know what your secret is, because I'm dying to know.
That's another story there. Getting ahead and getting wealthy and actually saving and growing your net worth or growing your wealth, paying your assets off, paying your car off, paying your home off. Very small segment of the population right now, folks. We're continuing to see things happen that are showing weakness in the economy. For example, U.S. layoffs have reached a very significant peak right now. The first half of 2025 saw the highest number of job cuts since the early months of the pandemic, going back to 2020, exceeding the total for the entire previous year. So this year already, even though we're just in September, we've already exceeded the full year of 2024, and again, the worst since the early months of the pandemic, folks. So not good at all. Of course, not what we were promised at the beginning of this administration starting in January. Prices were going to come down. Things were going to get easier. The American dream was going to come back alive, folks. The American dream, you have to be asleep to believe it, one, but the dream is now turned into a nightmare. So some monsters and some very scary things have jumped into the dream, basically turning it into a nightmare. All right, but again, for a lot of people, I have to put an asterisk up there. A lot of people, some people are doing better. Again, the people with dependents, for the most part, they're the ones that are struggling the most from what I see. Now, there's many factors leading to the layoffs in the economy that we're seeing right now. And also, it's difficult to get a good paying job now for many people, even people with degrees, people stuck with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 plus in student loans, unable to find a job that's going to be enough to even pay off their loans, even making the minimum payment. Imagine getting a degree and then the job that you find from the degree or because of the degree doesn't even pay the minimum payment on your loan. And that's without even going into all the other bills and expenses that most people have, right? It's insane right now. There's AI is replacing a lot of jobs. A lot of companies are finding other ways to cut cost, letting people go in white collar positions, in upper management positions even. Another thing too is there is a somewhat of a slowdown in consumer spending. People are still spending, but they're starting to be a little more choosy and picky on what they're buying. For example, coffee. Right, we're starting to see a same store sales slowdown at places like Starbucks. It doesn't count, new stores that just opened up, because if you're comparing a year-over-year number, a new store that just opened up is not going to have a previous year to look at. So that's what they mean by same store sales. Stores that were open a year ago comparing to this year, many of them are seeing a big slowdown, and they're going to have to start cutting prices. The problem is people are still demanding higher wages, so companies and businesses are reluctant to cut prices because they have to pay these high wages. But some of them are still seeing very good profits, but still not cutting their prices. Look at Starbucks, and let's hear from someone that just bought their first Starbucks in a few years, Starbucks coffee, and how they feel about that experience.
Okay, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. We're really living in a recession. So I'm literally on my way to go pick up my son, right? And I wanted to get Haiti. If you drink boba tea, then you know Haiti. If you don't drink boba tea, then I'm not really going to explain it. So anywho, I'm going to pick up my son. And I was like, all right, I haven't had Starbucks in forever. And the neighborhood that I'm in don't really have much stuff. If you know, you know, it's a certain part of Brooklyn. So since today was a lot for me today, I wanted a little sweet treat. So I'm like, all right, I haven't been in Starbucks in years. And when I say years, it's literally years. I usually support my local coffee shops, mostly in my neighborhood, where I live at. If you know, you know. This is how you know we're living in a recession. Since when this is a tall? This small ass shit is a tall. This small, it literally, I do not remember that a tall for Starbucks for a drink was this small.
Doesn't look that tall. Actually, it's tall maybe compared to an ant, but it's not very tall otherwise. Why can't I get to the cup?
It's a tall.
There it is.
This small,
that doesn't look tall at all. Wait till you hear the price.
Literally, I do not remember that a tall for a drink was this small. For my recollection, I haven't been in Starbucks for maybe like 2.5, 3 years. From my recollection, I don't remember it being this small. And then I said, wait a minute, what is the price? And I realized it's the same price of the drinks that I get from my local coffee shop. And their stuff is taller than this. This should be $4. Like, for real.
Should be $4. It should be $1. Look how small that is. So she must have paid way over $4. We're going to find out here in a few seconds. That should not be even $3. It should be, look at this. That should be $1. And if they put ice in it, have you ever gotten a drink and then there's ice in it, you take a couple drinks and it's gone and you're left with a cup of ice? You just feel ripped off. All right, let's continue.
$4. Like, for real. The fact that this crap was $6.80 made me realize that we're literally in a recession.
$6.80 for a little cup. Wow.
That's all I gotta say.
A little cup of coffee mixed with some milk.
Oh, and let me just add,
Some
I just
sweetener.
want to add, I drunk this in 2 gulps.
2 gulps.
Literally went like, and I was done. Literally. I went 1, 2, and I was done. So I just want to add that.
Folks, there's still too many people out there willing to pay the price. Obviously, she paid the price. She's probably not going back for a while, or maybe never, after paying that much. There needs to be a lot of people just saying no, refusing to pay the high prices. Until then, these companies are not going to lower their prices. The same thing with cars. Pick your item, pick your merchandise. It's the same exact thing. And if people can get loans or borrow money or put it on a credit card, they're not going to say no. They're just going to keep on spending and keep on buying it. And that's the problem. The cost of living is going to keep rising. And then on top of that, you have companies just raising prices because of greed, not because of necessity, but because of greed. Some of it's because of the higher wages, the high cost of production, the higher cost of raw materials and goods. But a lot of it's just greed and knowing that people will pay the price by, again, putting it on a credit card, taking out loans, balance transfers, doing whatever they can.
I think right now in society, people are hurting. And not only are they hurting, they're just tired and fed up. All right, I think people have realized that, enough is enough and that we need better. We need more. Like, there's people out here that are struggling right now. I mean, barely surviving to make ends meet. And you got these people that are, getting richer and richer while the poor are getting poorer and poorer. And people are just tired, bro. Like, the cost of living is extremely high. Not only that, people cannot afford to make car payments anymore. Repossessions is at an all-time high. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. People are tired, bro. People are fed up, man.
Credit card debt all-time high. Car repossessions, he's kind of right. Subprime loans are at an all-time high overall, including prime loans or people with good credit. They're the highest since 2009, which was the financial crisis. They're not at an all-time high yet, but we're headed in that direction. It won't be too long.
And it's like each and every day, I feel like we're just getting more and more and more fed up, right? People, you see what's happening in Nepal with these protests. You see what's happening all over the world. And I think we're going to end up seeing more of this if something doesn't change. And honestly, I don't think anything's going to change. If anything, it's going to get worse. Also,
folks, we told you at the beginning of the year that the tariffs are going to take several months to actually be factored into the economy. But look what just happened. This just came out here. This headline: U.S. companies put brakes on hiring after the tariffs are finally starting to bite. They're finally starting to take effect. So what you thought was bad is likely going to get worse. What you thought was really bad is about ready to get a lot worse, folks. So let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on the people that we heard from today. The tiny little coffee, which they call a taw, for $6.80. People are still paying the money, folks, putting it on credit cards, and that's why one of the reasons why the prices haven't come down. So where does it end? Do we all have to get together and say no more buying this stuff? But if you do that, then people are miserable because their life is boring. If they can't get their little treat or their coffee, or if they can't go to the club or concert or amusement park, people feel like they're just working for nothing, just working, coming home, paying bills, and their life is dull. That's how many people feel about it. Let me know what you think about all this, folks. As always, keep stacking. See you in the next report. Bye for now. Peace.